the camera, right?
Sure. Whatever you want. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. It's kind of an overcast autumn day out there, and I have a few underwriters. I'm just going to rattle them off, and then I'm going to introduce my guest. As I read them off, take a look. I think you may know this gentleman. The underwriters are as follows: Big D's Neponset Cafe in Canton, Mo's Place, a little restaurant in Hanson, Shovel Shop Spirits, Beer, Wine, and Liquor in Easton, Mike's House of Pizza in Hanson, and Mrs. Swift's and More Antiques in East Bridgewater, where ghost tour tickets are available for Friday and Saturday nights through November 10th. And on that note, allow me to introduce my guest. This gentleman here is an iconic comedian and actor. He's basically leading the country in comedy and funny things and projects he's done, and this is the one and only Steve Sweeney, and he just completed a film called Sweeney Killing Sweeney. We're going to talk about the film. We're going to talk about how it came to be, a little bit of, the background of the film and the people that are in it, because they're all very well known, and so that's it. So, Mr. Steve Sweeney, thank you so much for being on Topic Time with me tonight. This is such an honor.
Well, it's always been my dream to be on Topic Time.
Did you hear that? I mean, if this doesn't show Topic Time is on the map, then I don't know what does.
Really, it takes a lot of. You have to have a lot of credits. You have to work a long time in order to make it.
That's true.
Here at Topic Time.
That's right. And I just want to, again, I want to give a shout out to AC.
I was being funny.
What's that?
I was being funny.
Okay, that's cool. I'm laughing inside. I'm spilling my guts out here. I also just want to give a quick shout out to AC Takuchi of Dirty Water Media, who did a great interview with me, and the lovely Tiara and Josh Steele, who were great in having me on this segment. Yes, I was interviewed on Dirty Water the other night.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was an awesome show. Night Moves, that's the show that they had me on. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them. You ever been interviewed on their show before?
Yes,
I figured you probably were.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in the loop,
good
obviously.
show.
It is. It's a great show. All right, well, let's talk about this film, Sweeney Killing Sweeney. I looked at the trailer today, and I saw some pretty renowned people, not the least of which was the inimitable Lenny Clark.
Lenny's in it, and Frank Santarelli.
Frank Santarelli from The Sopranos. Frank
Santarelli.
Santarelli from The Sopranos. Okay, sorry about that.
Frank is in it, and Tony V, and Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright, one of my favorite comedians.
And Nick DiPaolo.
Yep.
You know Nick. Jonathan Katz.
I know Jonathan Katz. I've been a big fan of Doc. Yeah. And you were one of his patients in that old cartoon character show that he had on all those years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had this script.
Yep.
A guy named Bill Broadus wrote.
He was a Dr. Katz contributor too.
He was the writer.
He was.
Yeah, the head writer. So he had this script, and basically it was, HBO comes to town, or a major cable company comes to town. They want me, but get rid of the characters. Then the characters try to kill me, and I play the characters. So I play 6 parts in this movie.
Okay.
And then I go to these guys for advice, the guys you mentioned. And it was an incredible experience because people know them as comedians, a lot of them, but a lot of them are also actors. Like Frank Santarelli was on The Sopranos for 9 episodes of 10, and Jonathan Katz done a lot of acting, and Steve Wright, and Lenny's been in a lot of stuff. So it was just a great favor they did for me, basically. This was a favor because no one got paid. But it was a great script, and the director, Lisa Mola, took a very low-budget movie, which was like $100,000, and she made it look like $1 million movie. We had an editor from Channel 5 who
was it?
His name's Brian, and he's the editor of Chronicle.
Oh, okay.
But he's actually won Emmys and everything, and he did the editing, and they put together this movie so it looked like a real Hollywood movie.
It was all shot in the Boston area?
It was shot in Quincy. It was shot in Concord. It was shot in Boston. It was the Boston area.
Okay.
And so they took this whole thing, and then we got a guy to write music for it. And it was just an amazing experience. I've done a lot of movies, between 20 and 30 as an actor.
Yep.
So when you're an actor, you're kind of a day player. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like the manpower of movies. You know, it's like you're an actor, you go in, you do your gig, and you leave. So with this, I've been with it for a couple of years. So
Wow.
I had raised the money.
They started filming it 2 years ago?
No. You have to raise the money,
Right.
and that takes a year at least.
Yep.
You know, you get the script, and that was producing, and then the shooting of the movie was great.
Yep.
Everybody it was a great team kind of experience. And then after that, then you try to get a distributor, but the reaction has been great. We showed it at the Somerville Theater.
Okay.
That was one opening. Then we showed it at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, and
Yep.
on November 7th.
It's legendary, that place.
Yeah, beautiful old theater. So now it's the Showcase Cinemas, which is like the big ones.
I have a list of where it's going to
Yeah.
be premiering right here. Whenever you want me to read it, just let me know.
No, I just wanted you
Okay.
to know it.
Okay.
So November 7th, at the Revere Showcase, we're going to do the movie, and we're going to do a question and answer.
Okay.
And then November 8th, it's going to be in Dedham, Woburn, Foxborough, Providence. So it's kind of an event kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So the question and answer period after the movie, that's like a show in itself, you know,
course.
with all these funny guys. So I'm
It's
really
probably going to
excited
take longer
about
than the
it.
movie itself.
It's hard shutting us up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now-
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. And so when did you start filming it? And how long did it
We
take?
filmed it in like 3 weeks. But
Really?
But there's this whole process, as I mentioned, of getting the money, pre-production, then after production, then editing it.
Right.
But the actual filming didn't take that long.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
Wonderful.
a full-length feature too, right?
That was 3 weeks of 14, 15-hour days.
Of course, yeah. But I mean,
it's an hour and 40. Yeah.
an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay.
Yeah. Then you have to work around everybody's schedules. You know.
Of course you do. Of course. But the fact that you got all those people in there, I mean,
Yeah.
well, it says a lot for you. I mean, they weren't doing you a favor. You were doing them a favor. Look at it that way.
Well, we're friends. We
Of
do
course.
we do each other favors, but they were doing me a favor. Believe me, if this cast was like if they got the money they deserve, it'd be like a lot of money.
Well, but this is what's going to lead to more projects like this with more money. I mean, this is what happens with, people like this. When you have a bunch of iconic people coming together and doing a film like this, there's sooner or later you're going to be seen out in Hollywood, and they're going to say,
Well, Harrison, you keep your fingers crossed, but I've got 3 other projects I'm working on now.
"You want to talk about them?"
Sure, I got
I'll go
one
for it.
one that's a one-man show.
Okay.
It's called Townie, about growing up in Charlestown.
Okay.
So I do that in theaters, and then local little theaters. So we're probably going to be filming that. And then I got a partner in Ireland. I'm writing a movie with him
Okay.
about my bicycle trips over there. And then I got another one that I'm doing with another guy. So I'm writing with other people, and it's kind of a whole new thing for me,
Okay. So you actually just started writing recently, as opposed to just doing comedy
Well,
and acting.
I wrote many years ago. I have a master's in writing, but I never liked it. I never liked sitting in a room alone.
Okay.
But I like to collaborate. Do you like to collaborate?
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
doing it right now.
Bouncing ideas off people.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this show?
8 years. I started it on August 18th, 2010.
Yeah.
And when I if you want to know about the show, I actually had no guests at first, and then I got on Facebook, and then I took off. I just started reaching out to people like left and right, and I got over 4,000 Facebook friends now. And to get someone like you in here, that's a huge windfall for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. I had David Russo in here. You know Dave.
Yeah, of course.
I'm surprised he wasn't in Killing Sweeney.
He was in it.
He was.
Unfortunately, he was cut. that happens. That happens in
That does
movies,
happen, yeah. Maybe you'll be in the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, now I saw a little bit of you doing Evening at the Improv.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
obvious.
that was many years ago.
Right,
yeah,
right. Well,
yeah.
you don't look you've aged much. I mean, you're a young guy.
Well, I did 6 evenings at the Improv. I did a Letterman. I did a young.
Oh, you were on with Letterman?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
a David Letterman. I did a young comedian.
So
special
how
with
great
Trump.
is it for me to have you on my show?
Oh no, I mean, the best part about doing these shows, to be honest with you, the best part of the whole experience of this business is the people I've met.
Of course.
Because I've gotten to work with the best.
Yep.
I mean, I was in a movie with Denzel Washington, The Equalizer.
There you go.
I wrote a show with George Carlin. I was in a movie with Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School. You know.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's
yeah.
'87. Well, you what did you play in that?
I was the security guard. He goes into what he thinks is a.
I remember that
fraternity.
iconic line. The best part about making kids is having kids is making them.
Yeah, well,
Right.
he goes into what he thinks is a fraternity. It's a sorority, and there's a girl in the shower. Then he walks out.
I remember that. Yep.
And he says, "Here, have some kids." I said, "I don't have any kids." He said, "Well, buy yourself some kids." So I was the security guard in that. But I got to hang out with him, and I hung out a lot with George Carlin because he wrote a pilot. Then I wrote my own part, and you know, you feel very fortunate, which I do.
Of course.
As a matter of fact, this is really funny. I just got a sticker down the Cape, and it's supposed to be for the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
But it says, I just got it on my car, "Make America Grateful Again."
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that good?
But how about
Grateful.
You know, I noticed you didn't use the word dead in there.
Grateful. You know, it's like, so that's how I feel about all of this.
Okay.
I mean, you talk about these guys, you know, that were in this movie.
Right.
I could never thank them enough. You know, it's just, I've been very fortunate that way.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what an iconic life you've led for yourself, and it's
I mean, it's been a lot
beginning.
of fun.
Yeah.
But you know, when you begin in this business,
Yep.
I grew up in Charlestown. My friends became firemen, police officers, whatever, and I took a shot. I never made any money, you know, but I did something I loved, which
Right.
you cannot put a price tag on that. So, you know, when I talk to kids, I used to teach at Suffolk. I taught public speaking to business students, right?
Wow.
So I went around, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to make $1 million, I want to make $1 million." And I don't have any judgment about that. But the way I feel about it is you can't put a price on doing a job that you love.
That's true.
You can't put a price on that. There's a feeling you get from creative work,
Right.
which I'm sure you get from doing your show here.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate in that way.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
Yeah.
What did you?
We're lucky.
We are. Where did you get a master's degree from writing?
That was from University of Southern California, USC. I got a master's in writing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I wrote a book, a nonfiction book, a book. I wrote screenplay, a play, but I couldn't. The solitariness of it got to me, and then I fell into stand-up. I was an actor, so now I found my place because, you know, you write your material when you
Right.
stand up, but it's more out, if you know what I mean. It's more out there, whereas writing books or whatever, it's like you're kind of in your own mind, and so.
You got to reach the people that you're addressing. No
Yeah,
pun
well,
intended.
no, see, I've been writing lately for the Herald. I have a
Okay.
radio show, Boston Herald, and I've written 2 or 3 columns, and it's been really good because the editor there, Joe Shockey, said to me, just think of it as writing a routine.
Wow.
So,
What kind of columns were they? Just news or editorials?
no, it humor. You know,
Oh, humor,
I
okay.
wrote one on online dating for dogs.
Okay, that's cute.
Banks. Remember how you used to go to a bank, you'd stay in the line and you'd be bored or whatever, and now it's guys so, "Hi, how are you? What do you want?" You know, you go up and have a pen, have a lollipop. It's like too much personality. Then I wrote another thing about
Nice.
what I'm going to do when I'm going to make it in Hollywood. I'm going to have an art show, even though I don't paint, and I'm going to go on to one of these shows like The View and walk off. And
Okay.
do all
Right.
this stuff.
Please don't do that on my show.
No, no.
At least not till the end.
So those are the columns. And,
Okay.
But I hope people come out and see this movie because I know you're going to like it. I know that you're going to get a lot of laughs out of it. One of the things I like about it, and I didn't write it, by the way, this has nothing to do with Trump. All the humor now, all the late night shows, all the joke, it's all Trump.
Right.
Like whatever happened
Or
to the-
anti-Trump. Political.
Yeah, they're anti-Trump, or they're
Right.
satirizing Trump. So this is the kind of comedy guys like Jonathan Winters used to do. You remember Jonathan
I do.
Winters? It's kind of escapist.
Yeah.
So it's a nice movie, and
Not
I
too
hope-
violent. Silly violence, but nothing too serious.
no, there's no violence. It's a comedy.
Right, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the people, and I noticed that people are pretty much living their own. I mean, you have extras in there too. I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
You have, young kids. I assume they were delighted to be in it.
Yeah, we got a wonderful young actor. His name's Simon. Wonderful young actor. And these young actresses, Jordan, who's going to be on this show with you. And
I hope so.
And Lisa, oh, she'll come on. And they're very beautiful, these young actresses, but they're also very talented.
Yeah, she's also great behind the camera too.
Jordan and Christina. And
Christina Kosalakis.
I guess her last
Yeah.
name is something like that.
Right, yeah, we were talking the other day.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should have her on. She's
I want to get her
wonderful.
on. I have her number. I have about 200 people on my callback list.
They'll all come on.
And Lisa too.
Yeah, and Lisa Mola, wonderful director.
She is. That's how she hooked me up with you, which is why
Yeah.
I'll obviously be
Yeah.
delightfully grateful
Yeah.
to talk to her. Well, all right, so let's talk about. You want to talk about growing up in Charlestown?
Where did you grow up?
All right, let's talk about
Let's
me.
talk
I grew
about
up
you.
in Brockton. I'm still there. City of
Okay.
Champions. I'm lucky. I grew up with the proverbial silver spoon in my mouth.
You did, really?
Yeah, well, we're not poor. I mean, Brockton has like a reputation now
Mm-hmm.
for being kind of a grunge city. Charlestown sort of did too for a while.
Of course. When
Yeah.
I was growing up, it was like that. Now, did you ever meet Rocky Marciano?
I did not meet Rocky, but I was good friends with. I'm still good friends with his niece and nephew. Sadly, one of them passed away of a drug overdose.
What about Marvin Hagler?
Yeah, I met Hagler.
You met Hagler?
My brother was actually a boxing trainer, and he trained Hagler. A couple of guys that Hagler worked out with. He worked with Goody Petronelli.
Petronellis. Your
Yeah.
brother worked with the Petronellis.
He did. He worked with Goody. Goody's
Yeah.
not with us anymore, but he, so I have some knowledge of people in Brockton. Let me tell you something about Brockton. As long as we're on the subject, there were several people in the city of Brockton that could have been world famous. One of them, Rocky Marciano was the only one that really was, but there were several other ones. We had Stanley Bowman, who was an Enterprise photographer. That was our home city paper. With his skills in photography, he could have worked for any news magazine in the world. Some of his pictures went into Life magazine, mostly of Rocky, because he covered Rocky's career from start to finish. He got plenty of great shots of Rocky and Parade. He got plenty of celebrity shots when people came to Brockton. JFK came to Brockton. When Jimmy Carter came to Brockton in '76, campaigning for his, for the presidency, and he.
Now, do you still live in Brockton?
I still live in Brockton. Yep, I probably always will, but
Wow.
I mean, I'm expanding. I mean, if destiny takes me somewhere else, I will go somewhere else. Right now,
What did you do before you did this job?
I wrote a book of short stories and sold it door to door, and I'm a writer too. And I did some acting, and the great thing about my show is that it's gotten me some acting roles. I've had filmmakers on my show, and they put me in their films. I was also an extra in two major films, Amistad and Shutter Island. I worked alongside of Scorsese, and I have comedian in my blood. I happen to be cousins with Sarah Silverman and Laura too, and I'm sure you've worked with them, correct?
No.
Well,
I've
wait a
never
minute,
worked
that's not
with Sarah.
entirely true. You were on Dr. Katz. Laura was the voice of the receptionist.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Right,
Yeah, she
so-
was very good.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
So I have,
What did you do in Amistad?
Amistad, I was a member of the House of Representatives, and as long as you were talking about Amistad, this was my first film, and it was in 1997 when I was 37 and a half. Spielberg fired me, and the reason he fired me was something that he was only totally to blame for. He gave a direction. He was directing the scene in the State House. Now we were in a dated scene from 1839, and I was all suited up with pork pie hats, sideburns, the whole 9 yards, the ruffled shirt and everything. So we had a scene when Anthony Hopkins was, John Quincy Adams dozing off in the chambers, and Spielberg said, "Inquire as to his well-being." And I said, "Is he okay?" And he goes, "Hey, you idiot! They didn't say it like that in 1839." And he cut me from the next scene. I was supposed to go down to Newport, Rhode Island, the following Monday. and do some more scenes. Now,
Wait a minute, slow down.
Okay.
So what was your line?
well, it was just an ad lib. It was like, ask, is he okay? Or ask.
But did the director tell you to say the line?
No, he didn't say. See, here's the thing. It was 1997. People, for
But
force
did
of
he-
habit, are
but
going to
did-
say, is he okay?
But did he tell you to say something?
He did.
See, so now here's an interesting thing. Once you speak,
Yep.
you make more money.
Right.
You're a speaking part. You make more money.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did. I got I got about $60, and then I got
So
canned from the
so,
film.
So what was his direction to you?
His directions were, to me and everyone else in the room, is to inquire as to his well-being. Those were his exact words, as if that we were going to know immediately without even thinking twice. That remember, he didn't remind us that this is 1839. Don't use 20th century jargon. Say inquire as to his well-being. Say something, or he should have given us a phrase to use, perhaps that sounded more dated for the time.
So if you had said it like you're from Brockton, you would have said kick him. Kick him to wake him up, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a bad idea. He would have fired me even quicker if I'd said that.
Did he call you an idiot?
He sort of did, yeah. I think he did. I think he really
But
singled me out.
did he use those words?
Yeah. I think he used words that I can't repeat either, also on the air, by the way.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You got to understand something, because I've gone
I
through.
know it's a tough industry.
No, I've gone through this.
Right.
Every minute that they're filming, they can't waste any time.
Well, I know that.
You know.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not mad at the guy. I realize what happened.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Well, guess what? We're down to 5 minutes.
All right, let's stay on this though.
Go ahead.
All right, so then Shutter Island. That's my favorite.
I was a mental patient, or all I was born to play.
But Dennis Lehane. That's my favorite book of his.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I worked directly with Scorsese, and it was wonderful. They had me handcuffed and foot shackled and led me across the floor of an old mental hospital in Medfield, Massachusetts.
Right.
And it was delightful. And then they had me making love to an azalea tree outside. They had me doing 2 scenes. One in the winter, that was inside the mental institution. The second one was the summer scene outside in the yard with all those people at the beginning at the film. Where
That's an amazing movie.
it is. It is a great film. Leonardo DiCaprio looked at me like he thought I was the real deal, too. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. You know, I heard a story like that. Jack Nicholson, you can see this on YouTube, by the way.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson was doing Cuckoo's Nest.
Right, I saw that. Great film.
And they're filming way, way up in Washington.
State or D.C.? State.
Washington State.
Yep.
So Jack is sitting there, and then the cast members get off the bus, and he said to the director, "You got real nuts." You know, he thought they were real crazy people,
Right?
but they were all actors.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you want to give some shouts out to people in the 4 minutes we have left? Maybe people on...
Well, no, I just want...
Killing Sweeney?
Killing Sweeney. This camera over here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay.
Red light.
And I hope you come and see it.
I will.
And then after we have this round of theaters, it's going to be on one of these Hulu or Amazon or one of those things, and then it'll be what they call video for sale. And I'm going to get on a bunch of national shows, I think, to plug that. So it's been going really good, and it's nice to be here in the city of Carver.
It's a town, but that's fine.
Town. So what do we have, about 15 people that watch this show?
15. We're going to get a ton of hits for this show. Are you kidding me? When we do that selfie before we leave and post it to Facebook, people are going to be spinning. Their heads are going to be spinning when they see that I interviewed you. I'm telling you. No,
well, I hope I get out of here alive.
By the way, we got
Carver.
3 towns that watch this on TV: Carver, Plimpton, and Halifax.
Wow, that's 15 people right
There's
there.
at least 15 people.
There's 5 people in each of those.
Spread out in about a 30.
Now, where's the
30
Edaville
square mile radius.
Railroad? Is that Carver?
Yeah, that's Carver.
I used to come down here when I was a kid.
And me
with little
too.
Cranberry Bog.
Yeah, my grandparents used to take me there all the time.
Yeah.
And now my nephew goes there. Well, I don't know if he's 11. I don't know if they still bring him there.
Yeah.
His my parents, his
Well,
grandparents.
the theater that will probably be closest to this will either be Foxborough or
Do you want me to read the list as long as I got it here?
Providence. Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, we're going to finish up with a list of where Killing Sweeney will premiere, and then we're going to wrap the show up. So it's Wednesday, November 7th at the Showcase Cinema at Deluxe Revere, 55 Squire Road. Thursday, November 8th, and these are the locations on the 8th. Showcase Cinema Deluxe Randolph, 73 Mazzeo Drive. Showcase Cinema Deluxe Patriot Place, home of the Patriots. In Foxborough, 24 Patriot Place. Showcase Cinema Deluxe Legacy Place, 670 Legacy Place in Dedham. Providence Place Cinema 16 and IMAX, 10 Providence Place in Providence, Rhode Island. And Showcase Cinemas, Woburn, 25 Middlesex Canal Parkway, Woburn.
Woburn.
Woburn. Okay, I call it Woburn, but whatever. It's Woburn, however you want to say it, like potato.
Okay.
Spud, Spood. Are you ready to wrap it up and do the?
We're ready.
Okay, folks. I hope you enjoyed my other great guest, Steve Sweeney. We'll have many more.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Take care. Have another nice. You got it down. And that was it.